Black cats crossing your path. The belief that a black cat crossing your path brings bad luck is deeply rooted in medieval Europe, but it wasn't always negative. In ancient Egypt, cats were revered, especially under the influence of Bastet, a goddess associated with protection and home life. Killing a cat, even accidentally, was considered a serious crime. The superstition shifted dramatically in Europe during the Middle Ages when black cats became associated with witchcraft. Many believed witches could transform into black cats or used them as familiars. This fear intensified during the witch hunts, where paranoia blurred reality and folklore. Sailors, however, often saw black cats as lucky, keeping them on ships for protection. Over time, the superstition stuck in popular culture, especially in Western societies, where black cats remain symbols of mystery, misfortune, and Halloween imagery. Breaking a mirror. The idea that breaking a mirror brings 7 years of bad luck originates from ancient Roman beliefs about the soul. Romans thought mirrors did more than reflect physical appearances, they revealed fragments of a person's spirit. Damaging a mirror was believed to harm that spiritual reflection. The number 7 came from the Roman concept that life renewed itself every 7 years, meaning it would take that long for the damaged soul to recover. Earlier civilizations, like the Greeks, used reflective surfaces for divination, believing reflections could predict the future. If the image appeared distorted or shattered, it was taken as a sign of doom. As mirrors became more common and expensive in Renaissance Europe, this superstition also served a practical purpose, discouraging careless handling. Today, the idea persists largely as folklore, though many still feel a lingering unease when glass shatters unexpectedly. Walking under a ladder. Avoiding walking under ladders is one of the oldest Western superstitions, often linked to religious symbolism. A ladder leaning against a wall forms a triangle, which was considered sacred in Christianity, representing the Holy Trinity. Passing through that triangle was seen as breaking its divine unity, inviting misfortune. Ancient Egyptians also regarded triangles as powerful shapes tied to their pyramids, further reinforcing the idea. In medieval Europe, ladders gained darker associations because they were used during public executions. Walking beneath one could symbolically place a person in the condemned's position. Over time, this belief blended practical caution with superstition. After all, walking under a ladder could lead to accidents from falling tools or instability. While many people today recognize the rational safety concern, the superstition still carries an instinctive sense of unease rooted in centuries of symbolic meaning. Spilling salt. Spilling salt is commonly believed to bring bad luck, often followed by tossing a pinch over the left shoulder to counteract it. This superstition traces back to the high value of salt in ancient times, when it was considered a precious commodity and even used as currency in some cultures. Wasting it was seen as careless and potentially inviting hardship. The association deepened with religious symbolism, particularly in Christian tradition. In Leonardo da Vinci's famous painting The Last Supper, Judas Iscariot is depicted spilling salt, which came to symbolize betrayal and misfortune. Throwing salt over the left shoulder was thought to blind or ward off evil spirits lurking behind. Over time, this ritual became a quick corrective action embedded in daily behavior. Even today, many people instinctively perform it, blending habit, history, and a subtle desire to avoid tempting fate. Friday the 13th. The fear of Friday the 13th combines two separate traditions considered unlucky. The number 13 has long been viewed as disruptive, possibly because it follows 12, a number associated with completeness, such as the 12 months, zodiac signs, and apostles. Adding a 13th element was thought to upset harmony. Friday, meanwhile, carried negative associations in Christian tradition, believed to be the day of the crucifixion. The convergence of these two elements intensified the superstition. Historical narratives also played a role, especially the arrest of the Knights Templar on Friday, October 13, 1307, which fueled later myths. Over centuries, literature and popular culture reinforced the fear, turning it into a widely recognized phenomenon. Today, many buildings skip the 13th floor, and some people avoid travel or major decisions on that date, illustrating how deeply the superstition has embedded itself in modern life. Knocking on wood. The act of knocking on wood to prevent bad luck is a widely practiced superstition with ancient origins. Many early cultures, including the Celts, believed that spirits or deities lived within trees. Touching or knocking on wood was thought to invoke their protection or express gratitude without attracting jealousy from unseen forces. In some traditions, it was also a way to ward off evil spirits by making a sudden noise. As Christianity spread, the belief evolved, with some linking the practice to the wood of the cross, adding a layer of religious significance. Over time, the ritual became a casual gesture used after expressing hope or good fortune, as if to lock in the positive outcome. Despite its simplicity, the act persists globally, reflecting humanity's enduring instinct to seek control over uncertainty through small symbolic actions. Opening an umbrella indoors is often said to bring bad luck, a belief that likely originated from both practical and cultural factors. In ancient Egypt, umbrellas were used primarily to shield individuals from the sun rather than rain, and they were associated with protection from the gods. Opening one indoors, away from sunlight, was considered disrespectful to divine forces. Later, in Victorian England, the design of umbrellas, with rigid metal spokes and spring mechanisms, made them potentially dangerous when opened in confined spaces. Accidental injuries or damage to fragile household items reinforced the idea that doing so invited misfortune. As the belief spread, it became less about safety and more about superstition. Today, while most people understand the practical origins, many still hesitate before opening an umbrella inside, reflecting how easily caution can transform into cultural tradition. Throwing coins into fountains. The practice of tossing coins into fountains for good luck or wish fulfillment has roots in ancient water rituals. Water sources were often considered sacred, believed to be inhabited by gods or spirits capable of granting blessings. In ancient Rome, people would offer coins to deities associated with springs and rivers, hoping for safe travels or healing. The tradition evolved into a symbolic act of making wishes, particularly tied to famous fountains like the Trevi Fountain in Rome. The ritual gained popularity through storytelling and tourism, turning into a global phenomenon. The act of turning away after throwing the coin added a sense of ritual completion. Over time, what began as a religious offering transformed into a cultural habit tied to hope and imagination. Today, millions of coins are collected from fountains annually, often donated to charity, giving the superstition a modern, positive twist. Horseshoes for luck. Hanging a horseshoe for good luck is a superstition with roots in European folklore and craftsmanship. Iron was believed to have protective properties against evil spirits, and blacksmiths who worked with fire and metal were often seen as possessing special powers. One popular legend involves Saint Dunstan, a blacksmith who tricked the devil by nailing a horseshoe to his hoof and only removing it after extracting a promise that the devil would never enter a home displaying a horseshoe. The direction of the horseshoe also became significant. Some believe it should face upward to hold luck, while others argue it should point downward to pour blessings onto those below. Over centuries, the horseshoe became a common decorative symbol associated with protection and prosperity. Even today, it is frequently used in weddings and home decor, reflecting its enduring place in cultural tradition. Wishing on shooting stars. The tradition of wishing on a shooting star dates back to ancient Greek beliefs about the cosmos. Philosophers like Ptolemy suggested that stars were fixed in the heavens, and when one appeared to fall, it meant the gods were briefly observing the world more closely. This moment was seen as an opportunity for human wishes to be heard. In other cultures, shooting stars were interpreted as spirits traveling or souls ascending, adding a mystical dimension to the phenomenon. As astronomy advanced, people understood that shooting stars are actually meteors burning up in Earth's atmosphere, but the romantic symbolism remained intact. Literature and storytelling helped preserve the idea, transforming a fleeting natural event into a moment of personal hope. Today, making a wish upon seeing a shooting star continues to connect people with a sense of wonder and the timeless desire for something more.